All right. Welcome back to the Never Too Old to Be a Wizard podcast, episode 5, take 2. The first one was scuffed, okay? So we got the usual suspects, me, Sam, my sister Catherine, and her husband Kyle. We're going to be doing a death spell tier list. And as I tried to say last time, I want y'all to tweet at me, never_wizard. And if you're somehow catching this on Anchor, this one you're going to watch on YouTube. There's going to be fun visuals involved. Okay. let's hope this one. Let's hope that This I wanted to show what spells we were going to discuss and then get into the PowerPoint, but I already got the PowerPoint all set up. We're just going into the PowerPoint. All right, here we go. Death spells with Dakota. This is the name of my death wizard here, Dakota. You know, that boy, as he is called. And I want to get in here with the disclaimer. Okay, spoops ahead. All baby boys, please get the fuck out. Okay, we're done.
Get the fuck out.
All right, I didn't.
Can I leave now?
Listen, the spoop. You're supposed to do the spoops after the disclaimer, so all the baby boys had time to get out. I didn't have time.
I thought you did the disclaimer.
I did, but I got spooped. You did it too quick. I didn't have time to get out.
Apologies.
All right. Now we get into the honorable mention. There was a lot of death spells I wanted, and I couldn't pick just one without at least talking about some of the others. Okay. I'm just cranking my volume up and down here, just trying to land in that sweet spot. Nope, can't get it. Can't be done. Oh, it's when I'm talking directly at the mic that I'm in the sweet. Okay. Directional cheap mics. Here we go. Scarecrow. He up here first. He swoop, you recoup. But most of all, he spoop. You know? He come in, he hit everybody. He heal you. And then, you know, he's a little spoopy. He's a little pumpkin-y boy.
I cannot.
But did you want to talk about the numbers? Because I don't want to.
I did.
I want to let my boy explain. Okay? I saw this button half. I thought of the flex tape meme, but then I remembered, wait, Catherine had the flex tape meme and hers. And I'm like, well, why I keep wanting to say podcast. My PowerPoint is going to be way more scuffed than Kyle's and Catherine's. So I decided I'd find a scuffed picture. It looks like I drew it myself. Plop it right in there.
It really does look like you drew it. Who drew this?
I don't know. I
Googled it.
Yeah, I Googled it, and it was just in there in the mix. And I'm like, you know what? That's about the energy we're going for.
That's the one.
That's the one for sure. All right.
Yeah,
that's the one exactly. All right, let's move on. Oh no! Would you look at the time? Catherine, could you look at that clock and tell me what time it is over there?
It's I feel like the arrows aren't really clear enough for me to figure out where it's
time
pointing.
to duel, Catherine. All right. I don't even know if Catherine knows about this spell. All right, this spell is an all-you-can-spoop buffet. It's called Animate. Okay, it's summon a death minion. The more pips you have, the bigger the minion. And look at all the way down there at the bottom of the list. Does that say Death Incarnate? I'm sorry. You can summon Death Incarnate? You can straight go Exodia on these fools? Straight up collect all 14 pips to summon the Egyptian god and take him out? I didn't know that we were working with that kind of power, okay? What's your... Catherine, Catherine, what's your minion called?
My fire elemental.
Fire elemental. Does that sound like Death Incarnate? Like literally the embodiment of death? It doesn't sound like that, right? It sounds different. Okay? All I'm saying is death minions are constructed differently, okay?
It's a minion of death. I don't think it's a death minion, as our helpful viewer pointed out.
Okay, well, not as helpful as he was earlier when he unscuffed our first attempt at the podcast. A good thing we were only like 2 minutes in. That could have been catastrophic. Oh my lord. All right.
Shout out to the Noti game.
All right. Okay, but for real now, that was all the honorable mentions. Those were the only two that were even in contention.
Wait.
Yeah.
So are the honorable mentions?
Tell me what this incarnate is doing.
What's up?
The incarnate. What is he doing? What is he doing that's worth 14 pips and that makes him so amazing?
I didn't want to get into that. He's just a minion. He's not that special.
That's what I thought. Moving on.
Okay. Did you just want to bully me? Okay, because
I meant to ask a question.
Yes,
are these honorable mentions spells that you have to like get via quests or something that you're not able to get as just leveling up and such?
Scarecrow you get at level 48. You get him right before you get it, and Animate you get from I don't remember what you get it. The one I picked is actually one you do not get from quest. I assume Catherine can guess what it is. You do not get this via the natural leveling and questing.
I think I do know what it is.
All
Is
right,
it the
come on, guys.
is it the headless horseman?
It's the Headless Horseman. What are we talking about?
Obviously.
All right, let me break it down for you. The
Fuck
animation
it.
is nasty, okay? The acquisition is easy. You get in there on
Wrong.
Halloween, do a couple
Wrong.
lore master grinds, got it, okay? So
Wrong.
you can get this at, let's say, level 40 if it's Halloween time, right? It do fat damage. 4 pip, 530 damage? Excuse me? That's nasty. Damage fatter than the average American. For reference, I put the average American down here so everybody can see what we're talking
No.
about here. Just a sweet picture. Card art? Shh. Moving on. Card
Shut.
art. Shh. Don't worry about the card art. I got a little pumpkin boy covering up. Don't even sweat it. Card art may or may not be trash.
I have a critique about your
Yes.
PowerPoint, if I will.
Yes.
Acquisition, not easy, dog.
Listen, I got it in like less than 5 tries on both of my wizards. So I just think y'all are doing it wrong. Okay.
Tried like 30 times on one wizard and nothing has happened.
Have you been trying still?
No, but
You
like I
just
tried
did
a
it with
lot.
me. Those like 10 runs. Like you get it in like 20. It's like, I don't know. It's pretty common. You get it. It's a good drop rate. All right, we're moving on. Boom. The facts. I've been talking a lot of opinions. Here's the facts. What I have for you here is a Venn diagram of cool kids and people who have Headless Horseman. If you notice, the Venn diagram is a circle because you cannot be a cool kid who does not have the Headless Horseman, and you cannot have the Headless Horseman and not be a cool kid. Thus, mutually exclusive. I think I used that word.
You can't call an empty white circle a Venn diagram.
It's a Venn diagram, Catherine.
It's not.
Yes, it is. I don't know if you noticed, but the Venn diagram, the circles are just on top of each other. Do you understand? They're occupying the same space.
Go and edit that. Move the other circle. Show me both.
I can't. I'm in presentation. I can't edit it right now. Listen, the way that I've chose to present this has literally nothing to do with the fact that I tried to get a Venn diagram and I couldn't get one that I liked, and I just drew a circle in the PowerPoint software. David doesn't have the Headless Horseman. David, I got bad news, buddy. The Venn diagram, it's the facts. You know? Like, listen, facts don't care about your feelings, as they say.
Thank God I have the Headless Horseman.
All right, now this is a stock image. No. We can get into, this is just a Google Slides template I found that is just very Halloween-y. There's a lot more in here that we could go see. Look, there's just more example slides. Here, this one's like, oh, you can use a chart. You know, like here's some data. This is a planet. This is a spooky number.
What is this?
This is nothing. I didn't write any of this. These were all the extra slides where they were showing me how to use.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yes.
What's happening here?
All right, I just shout out to Slides Carnival. They made the thing.
Okay. What about the appearance of the card?
What about the appearance of the card?
I mean, you covered it up with a pumpkin.
I don't know.
I just feel.
I don't. I guess what's your issue with it?
I just would like to see it.
Oh, no.
No.
You said no?
Yeah, I guess no. And then also, I mean, we're about to do the tier list, Catherine. You're gonna say it. Oh, that's the live scene. Here's the left monitor. Okay. Here's the spells we're gonna be going over. Headless Horseman is in there. It's just.
What about an ugly looking Headless Horseman that is?
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
It's fine. He's cool. He's cool,
ugly.
I swear. He's normally cool, I swear.
My only issue with that card art is that the Headless Horseman, for some reason, has a head.
He does have a head. Well, it's a pumpkin, though. The Headless Horseman rides around with a pumpkin. It's canonically correct.
My only issue is how ugly the pumpkin head is.
All right, let's start with animate.
Never use.
Unfortunately, that is correct. I used to cast the spell before I got Scarecrow. Nowadays, I ain't gonna do it. So, but because I love it so much, I would like to let it live here. Thoughts?
I mean,
it does seem like a fun one.
Yeah. One of those
I
that I
feel like
don't
that's
never use because I carry it around, in case I, for some reason, have 14 pips. I don't know what to do.
that's fair. The
Like
same reason I keep
If you
exactly
were,
one hellhound.
how you
I was gonna
commonly
say, if you
find
had
yourself.
animate and you were a storm person that kept fizzling on your tempest, then yeah.
Now, Dark Pact. This is, I take 300 and then I give somebody a 30% balance blade. It'll just, whatever spell they cast next, get 30% bonus to their attack. Now, I feel like, honestly, I think we should do Dark Pact and Power and Sacrifice at the same time. They're very similar. It's, I take health, I do a thing. I take damage, I do a thing.
You help someone? Okay.
Yeah. Now, I
Okay.
would like to put Sacrifice very low on this list, when previously it was a spell that I very much liked.
What? Wait. That seems like it would be the most interesting. You take 250 to give 700 health?
Yeah, it's a fat heal for 3 pips, right? Except
Yeah.
I found out, even if I don't have a blade or anything, I still do like double damage with my gear at the current level. So I hit myself for over 500 and then healed him for still only 700. And that felt bad. It felt like I just gave him my health instead of healing him and just taking
Yeah.
a little damage. So
That's
Sacrifice
kind of wild.
is now in the I hate this spell. It used to be in
Wait.
the rarely use
Wait,
until
okay.
Yeah.
Timeout.
Yeah.
When do you get that spell?
pretty early. And it's good early.
That's what I'm saying. Can you really put it on hate the spell just because
Yes.
of
Because I'm higher level now and I hate it.
That does seem wild that would take like your boosts and stuff,
Yes.
like any kind of bonus damage.
And so, thus, I must assume that these do as well. Though I must be honest, I have literally never used either of these spells.
So if you're gonna say hate one spell, but then you're gonna put the other two spells higher.
No, they're going in the same spot. If I may, that's why I wanted to talk about these all together. I wanted you to know that I hate all of these. I thought they'd be really cool. I'm like, oh, you take damage, you get to have a really cool effect. I'm like, that's a cool part of death spells, right? You can take damage to do something cool. But you take a lot more damage than they advertise. Because you build yourself to deal damage, and then you deal damage, but then it's you, and it sucks.
It may hit. The other two look like they hit pretty hard.
Yeah, they hit even
They hit
harder than
3.
Sacrifice, so they'd hit
Yeah.
for like 700 or something at my current. Yeah.
Jeez.
But I mean, Empower is good if you're not, like, I think people use this as a treasure card because they don't have death damage. Like, if you're a fire wizard, you can just use 1 pip and either give yourself 3 pips or just give somebody else 3 pips for only 300 damage. Like, these are good as treasure cards when you're not a death wizard who deals bonus death damage, because these are all take death damage. Which is like, why? Why they do that? Why is it best for people that aren't the school it's in?
Okay, so, but I just feel like putting them under hate when they could be really useful spells and have been useful to you in the past seems excessive.
I will accept Sacrifice coming up to I never use it anymore. But
I think Empower too. I don't really like the first one.
I think Dark Pact's better than Empower, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yes, because I mean everybody gonna get pips, but yeah, I mean,
Well, it's
30%
3 pips,
damage
so it's
boost.
not like, yeah.
because this stacks with other blades, right? So you can just like me and Kyle on the first turn, he could Stormblade and I could Dark Pact him, and then he could Tempest for fat damage.
That's fair.
So
You talked me into it.
But I mean, at the same time, I could Empower and he could Blade, and then he could Tempest for 3 extra pips. So I mean, honestly, they're kind of in the same category. You want me to bring them up?
I would say yes, only for the reason of those 2 spells you have actually never used. So what's the point of that section if you have?
You're saying I should bring them up, but I've never used them and I hate them. That's the point of the bottom one. I never used them and I hate them.
Can you put them half and half? Like, can you
put them in the middle? No, it's just
We have rules.
aesthetically unbearable to me.
Honestly, I'm not gonna fight for them. If you want to put them in hate, I'm cool with it.
Okay, I think Sacrifice is the one I would put up the most because I just like having that pocket heal spell, or at least I did until I cast it more recently. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. I would say never use for that one because you never use it.
I used to
but
use it, and now I never do.
I don't know.
All right,
I would put that one in never use.
now we got Banshee. Banshee is just a super generic 3-pip attack. I'm gonna put this in the ring. I pretty much never use it.
Where is my screen frozen?
No, there's gonna be a delay. You haven't seen me move it at all?
I see the 3 spells in the center of the screen.
Yeah, you're gonna need to refresh.
Okay. Cool. Just me.
So for Banshee, I like, now that I think about it, also aesthetically among the 3-pips, I don't like Banshee very much. So I think I might even bring this down to never use.
Oh, I don't like Banshee at all.
Yeah.
Even low level, I don't really like Banshee.
Yeah, I don't like Dark Sprite either, if I'm being honest.
At all.
Don't hate it,
Even
but
a little bit.
don't like it very much. I never use it. Now Feint is this is a spicy spell. This is one people put like 7 talent points into death just to get this spell.
Yes.
Now I would put this right here in the use sometimes. Like when you're fighting a boss, and especially if you're working with somebody, you always want to have a Feint around.
Yeah.
So what exactly does Feint do?
It puts a trap on them, so the next hit they take will deal 70% more damage, and then it puts a trap on you for the next hit you take. You'll take 30% more damage.
Okay.
So this is not as instant as like Sacrifice or Dark Pact or Empower, but it can hit very hard. Like if you get krakened by somebody with a blade on top of your 30% Feint, you can get hit by for a lot. You are giving yourself some bad times. But also as death, you heal how much damage you do, so taking a little extra damage to deal a lot more that could be a heal. Feint's pretty good.
Yeah.
And
that first seems like it'd be useful in
I
a lot
mean,
of situations.
not playing a lot of death, but I do have my fire is also death is their secondary school, so I have Feint, and I've used it in the situation of where I put it on there, and then the person I'm playing with delivers a very big extreme attack that kills the boss or whoever we're fighting.
Yeah, Feint's super spicy. And I mean, honestly, I think other people would say it should go even higher, but I think it's good. I just don't like it that much, so I only use it sometimes.
I feel like you use it when you need it. I wouldn't use it all the time.
Even when I need it, I don't really use it. I don't like it that much. I think it's fine.
Very much
I think it's
sometimes.
good. I think it's hyped so much. I don't need to sing its praises anymore. If anyone did watch this video, they'd probably be like, okay, this is unacceptable. Who puts Feint in the use sometimes? I use that crap every fight, and I'll be like, well, okay.
Why would you?
Now I'm just gonna. We don't even need to talk about that.
We should.
Okay. Yes. Would you like to talk about it?
I just think that it should be more attainable for people, and so I would say that I never use it because
you don't have it.
I can't get it.
Because you don't have the spell.
Because I cannot get it.
Yes, well,
for the life.
Yeah, but me speaking as someone who has the spell, I definitely love this spell, so I don't know where else I would put it, I guess.
Okay, let's take a vote. Let's take a vote of who has the spell.
Well,
Anyone?
let's do, you like numbers, right? Look at, this is my 7-pip spell, Scarecrow, right? Look at how much damage it does.
Okay, I don't even want to talk about this.
Look at Headless Horseman.
I know where you're going, and I see what you're doing, and I don't like it.
It's nasty. That's just a lot of damage for 4 pips. It's crazy.
I mean, maybe I would use it sometimes.
It does more than, like, it almost does double, it does do double Banshee's, like, base damage. And it's 1 pip more. It's crazy. And the animation is spicy. All right? Spoop City. Let me put Scarecrow back where All right. Here's Ghoul. I like Ghoul very much. You got an opinion about Ghoul?
I'm between orange and yellow.
I would put him yellow as a higher level wizard, but I like him a lot, so I might bump him up into orange because of that. He's the first heal spell you get, And once you get sun spells, and every spell you hit with an enchant gets the same flat boost, those cheaper spells actually get a little better. Because adding 300 and it still being 2 pips is better than adding 300 and it still being 4 pips, like if you did Vampire.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm definitely willing to drop him from here, but right now I'd like him to.
Yeah, I feel like it's also one of those just like old reliables.
Yeah, and it does the exact amount of. I mean, I guess all the healing ones deal an exact amount of health. But he's so spicy, and he's the first one you get. And when I used to play as a child, I would literally always put 2 points into death just so I had ghoul. Because he's just old. It's like I need 160 damage. Oh, and he heals me. Fantastic. Cast him all the time, especially in Wizard City. Like, not that many guys have that much health. You're just like, boom, cool. You get through like the first 3 areas that way.
I like the predictability of it. I love that. I love that.
And he's the first one. All right, here's Plague. I gotta be honest. I've literally never cast this spell. I don't think it's bad. Just if it doesn't do damage, I don't care. I think it's a good spell, but when I'm playing by myself all the time, it's just not that good. If I was
I never.
If I had a group of people, like let's say I'm rolling around with 2 other people like y'all, and we were always fighting 4 people, I would. This is a good spell.
Yeah.
But I just never use.
So, yeah, it's your death. You're kind of playing solo through.
It actually matters.
Yeah. Now this one I literally use all the time. Scarecrow is so good.
Actually, you use it the most of any other spell.
It's the only thing I cast pretty much. And then if somebody's for some reason still alive after Scarecrow, I throw a Horseman out. That's pretty much how it goes. I mean, unless it's a boss, and then I use some of my other spells, but they're not on the tier list. They're a little not quite that far. So I mean, am I good to put him in Love This Spell, or y'all don't like him that much?
No, I think he's definitely belongs up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've talked me out of him from the Headless Horseman conversation, though, because Headless Horseman is about half the pips and does the same amount of damage. It just doesn't have the heal.
Yeah, but you got to think that Scarecrow's AoE.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm dumb.
That's the thing.
Right.
So if they're just with 2 guys there, he's dealing 8 pips worth of damage by that math.
Love that. Love that.
And he recently got buffed like crazy. Like he used to do way less damage, and death spells used to only get like a percentage of blades if they healed, because I think they got 2/3 damage from blades, because they're like, well, 2/3 is the damage, and then the other third is the heal you get from it. But then they're like, okay, forget that. You just get full damage. So he hits way harder than he used to, because he got pumped big, and also blades started helping him. So he's just busted right now. And then here's Poison. Poison's so good. I
love myself a dot, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's one of those things where like Death has a little bit of everything. It's kind of like Myth in that sense. Like it's those 2 schools that they do some damage, they do some tanking, they board stuff, and then in this I got a dot, and there are bigger dots I use instead at the end game. But for people that are just spamming shields like tower shields or life shields or death shields, anything that'll block me, Poison will just fix that.
Yeah.
And I can say from playing my life character, that's life changing. Just having access to a dot.
Never using or seeing Poison, I already want to put it in Love This Spell, if you know what I mean.
I mean, animation wise, it's like Scorch. It's literally, there's just a couple bubbles and then a dot shows up. So because of that,
Scald, and I feel like you're attacking me because I made a whole PowerPoint and I call it Scald.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to be silly like that. But I think I'd put it in the use sometimes, because I'd never use it unless I see somebody. I'm like, oh, that's an ice. I'm going to bring some poisons to get rid of the tower shields, or oh, that's a life. So they might have some death shields, so I'll bring poison.
Yeah.
Thus, I would put it here. Use sometimes. I mean, it's probably less good than Feign is in terms of being a good spell, but
how dare you?
I use it a lot more, if I'm being honest.
The dot.
Yeah, I mean, I recently acquired an 8 pip dot that I use instead, but I used to use this one all the time.
Oh my god.
All right. This is Vampire. Now, animation-wise, Vampire is funny. The first time
I got so upset the first time I watched it.
Yeah, the first time you see it, it's funny, it's startling, but then you see it every time and you start to be like, this is my big spell, like when you're at that point in the game. This is my 4-pip spell, and it looks dumb, and it barely does any damage. Like, it does barely any more than the Banshee does.
A
So
little damage.
he doesn't feel great. I mean, he heals, but, you know, he's fine. He was great for soloing before.
I feel like it'd be better to cast a heal.
I don't want to put him in the same. I think he's at least one above Banshee and Dark Sprite. I think I would definitely use him more than that. And he heal, and he 4-pip. But I've literally never cast the spell since I got Headless.
I mean, I would hope you wouldn't.
Like, even once I got Skeletal Pirate, which is the next one we're talking about, I mostly quit. No, I would still use Vampire, actually, because whenever I was fighting a boss, I would Skeletal Pirate to kill the mob and then just spam Vampire so that I'd keep my health high and eventually kill the boss. Just how death kills people. So, I mean, Vampire's fine. I think rarely used is good. Skeletal Pirate, it just sucks that you have to compare him to Horseman, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that he's 5 pips and does 100 less damage than Horseman.
Should Headless Horseman even be on this list, though, if we're being honest?
Probably not. It used to be a pay-to-win spell, like you had to get it from a pack, but as soon as you got it in Lore Master, pretty much everybody has it. If they're a Death Wizard, they, you know, make time on Halloween. Ah, I forgot to put the meme in the PowerPoint. There was a meme from the Reddit about everybody beating up Lore Master as soon as Halloween starts to get Horseman. I'm like, I saved that file in a folder and then forgot about it.
That's upsetting.
That's a sad day. Oh well. Pirate,
I like it less than Vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about how I feel as well. Especially because, but man, Vampire damage so small, so little.
Yeah.
In that vein, Wraith isn't any better. Look at how many freaking pips that is for his damage.
Honestly, that's offensive.
And his animation is not very, I mean, it's okay.
That's what I never hate the spell.
I don't hate
I know,
it,
especially
though.
for one more pip that you can get Scarecrow. It's
yeah, but I mean, for a long time you don't have Scarecrow. This is like a 33 spell.
Yeah.
And so for between levels 15 or for 15 levels between 33 and 48, Wraith is your biggest hit. And I did go from spamming Vampire to spamming Wraith. Like, it's I would put it under Vampire and Skeletal Pirate, because those are both spells I mean, even once I got Horseman, which was at like 40 when you get into Dragonspire, I still kept using Wraith for bosses, because it went from using Skeletal Pirate to kill mobs and spamming Vampire to using Horseman and spamming Wraith. Which it's something.
I guess.
It's not, he's not great, okay? I'm not I just, I would use him. And now I do have a bigger single target hit that's 9 pips, and I don't use Wraith anymore.
well.
But and that's why I'm gonna put him. I mean, honestly, I'd put him right here. This is where he lives. Vampire, Skeletal Pirate, Wraith, they all live right here. I rarely use them. But I did use them all the time before. Like way more than I've cast Ghoul. But I like Ghoul a lot better.
Ghoul is way better.
Wraith is just bigger Ghoul. He does pretty much the same thing. He comes out of instead of a tombstone, he comes out of a graveyard and then he sucks life and turns around and throws it at you. He looks like the Grim Reaper. He's just big Ghoul. It's
just 2, 4, 6 pips. It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
They're the same exact thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All 3 of them.
We're spending too much time talking about them. They're all drain spells. That's what. Scarecrow OP. They're okay. This is Beguile. I literally had to Google what this even does.
Tell me what this is.
It says target helps you for 1 round. What does that mean to you?
You target someone and they heal you. They have to heal you.
Pretty much. That's kind of what it does. Like, not that they have to heal you, but they have to. If they're gonna cast anything, it has to be helpful to you for 1 turn. And
wow.
Now in PvE, this doesn't really do much. They just don't have many helpful spells. Like, they just don't help you. But in PvP, sometimes people accidentally heal you. Because if they try to cast a heal, it heal you instead of heal them.
Oh,
Now, I still would never use this spell.
absolutely not.
And I hate it. But that
I
kind of
wouldn't say I hate it. That's kind of hilarious.
it's hilarious, but
I would put it in never use. I'm not gonna be hating.
but if
on
anybody
that.
knows what it does, they just won't do it.
Can everyone just pass? And it's like, oh,
Catherine, I don't know. The spell does not tell you what it do. You want me to Google it over here?
I mean, a
I
little.
didn't, oopsie. All right, let me get it. I mean, we this is probably gonna be the final ranking of our tier list here. Is there any that y'all feel uncomfortable with here?
No, I feel like that's
No.
should be how it is.
I mean, I don't think I missed any. I mean, of course I leave out like blades.
Yeah.
And they actually, there is a global curse that death has. It's like a trap that will deal 20% bonus to any spell, which is kind of good. But I mean, people just cast faint. They don't they don't use that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to intro screen so I can mess around with my left monitor without people being like, "Ooh, stop." I saw your websites.
Your passwords.
Your passwords. I'm in. It's
I
all
mean,
right.
I'm on to yours.
Now the wiki describes this as target becomes a teammate for 1 round.
Becomes a teammate?
I guess that means I don't think they can attack you. It's almost like a super weird version of a stun. Like if they're gonna do something to you, it has to be a spell they could cast on a teammate.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's interesting.
But again,
I would love to see it in action.
I've never seen it happen.
See, I mean, that's the one I would never say hate that, because it sounds fascinating to me. I would never use it in a million years, but hate, I think it's so interesting.
Okay.
I don't love that.
So it is quite interesting, but I don't wanna. Like it's one of those things where like the fact that it exists and I got it as a spell was disappointing, you know, once, because at first I'm like, what does that mean? I go look it up. I'm like, oh, it's kind of lame. Like it just feels bad to get a lame spell.
It's useless.
I mean, you could go probably buy a Beguile treasure card and just cast it just to see what it does, and you'd get all the fun I would get out of having it whenever I want, because I would cast it one time to see what it does and then never cast it again. So,
all right. So between now and next podcast, though, you are gonna cast it and tell me about it.
All right,
yes.
here we go. It's in I moved it up to never use. Feel better now?
Yes. I knew you could do it.
Right through. Causing me so many problems. Let the Beguile over. Let Beguile over. Oh.
I don't know why they're all not the same size. That's what it is.
Because I had to manually size them, and I'm using Adobe Spark, and I'm not a wizard. Okay. Well, I mean, I am a wizard. I would never be too old. I would never age out of being a wizard.
Of course, of course.
You know, as one does. All right.
I never have.
And you never will, because you can never be too old to be a wizard. I'm been said, and yeah, because you can never be too old to be a wizard. I've been Sam, along with Catherine and Kyle, and this has been our Death Spell tier list. Please subscribe on the YouTubes.
What the hell is that?
That's the outro.
Was that it?
That was it.
My dog, that wasn't it.
That was it.
It was it, but it wasn't it.
We didn't even talk about our Twitter. That's why no one's tweeting at us.
I did that at the front. I did that at the front twice.
I know. Why won't anyone tweet us?
I don't know. Just there's no way of knowing. I mean, I guess somebody has to watch first to be able to tweet us.
How dare you?
Somebody has to watch to the end of the video to be able to tweet us, you know, and that's just too daunting of a task. That's why I try to put it at the front, you know? That's how we do it.
I just don't know what'll draw them in.
Me neither.